Hello everyone, this is Darkslayer Reem from Haltesia Gaming. It's been a little over a week since Tipped Off, and I figured now would be a good time to share my experience. So, it was at Haunted Castle. This was a tournament that Rango invited me to, by the way. It was after Haunted Castle in which I decided that I would attend Tipped Off, because I had heard about it a while before and I figured that I wasn't ready. But at Haunted Castle, I placed 7th, which was surprising. Probably the best I had ever done in the tournament. And it was at that point I figured if I practice and practice and practice and practice, that I would be ready for Tipped Off. Now, I was going with the mindset, with my goal, to not drown in pools. That was my only goal, to make it into the bracket. That was my only goal. And so, I spent the next few weeks leading up to Tipped Off preparing for that goal. And I would say like maybe the week before I went to a tournament and I noticed something was wrong. I could not play. I just couldn't. I could not focus, I couldn't think, I was just scared. I couldn't focus at all. And so, I didn't do very well at the tournament. And then, I learned that I was starting to have trouble with the Yoshi matchup again, so I would say maybe the Monday night? Like, the tournament was on Sunday, and then the next night, I guess, I spent the entire night labbing the Yoshi matchup. Like 3 solid hours doing nothing but labbing the Yoshi matchup. Then the next day, at the Tuesday tournaments, it was a local, I played a PR set against who I consider to be the best Yoshi main I know. And every time I've ever played him before, he's beaten me pretty considerably. Like I've never taken a game off of him. But this time, I still lost a set, but I lost 3-2. So that was considerable progress for me. But anyway, so that was Tuesday. At this point, there was less than a week until Tipped Off. Friday night, it was either Thursday night or Friday night, I got a chance to play with who I consider to be the best Lucina player I know. And this Lucina player has taken a game off of Static Manny / Oni Hero. So, I was like kind of excited to fight him. Anyway, I lost set 3-0, but each game I got progressively closer and closer to winning. And I thought about it afterwards was that I didn't warm up. Now, I do think I probably would have still lost the set if I was warmed up, but I also think that I would have been able to take a game. Now, come, the pools were released and everything. Oh yes, this was Thursday night, because that was when the pools were released. But anyway, I'm looking at my pool. My pool is stacked. Because maybe a week before, Zero joined the Georgia Smash 4 group to let us know that he was confirmed to come to Tipped Off. And I just kept telling myself, please don't let me get Zero in my pool. I got Vinny in my pool. Now Vinny is who I consider to be the second best Sheik player in the world. Anyway, I looked at my pool. I had Vinny. Now, everything I was doing to prepare for Tipped Off was under the assumption that there would be a top 64 bracket and not a top 32 bracket. What the top 32 bracket meant was that only 2 players from each pool would make it into bracket. And looking at the pool, I had Vinny, second best Sheik player in the world, Dingo, Rango's rival, Knockout, a player who frequently fights Fatality in grand final sets at locals, Day, a player who I also recognized as a good player, who was a Zero Suit Samus main, and Doombot, another really recognizable player from our area. So I decided I was going to research everyone in my pool to know as much as I possibly could about who they were, what their characters were, what their play styles were, so that I could practice accordingly to deal with it. And an interesting thing I noticed is that whenever I play against a top player, I do not play as good as I normally do, because instead of playing to win, I play to not lose, because I tell myself that I can't win, because it's just that much higher up than me. But Dingo, everyone in my pool but Vinny, interesting enough, was someone that I didn't think that way of. I didn't think of them as someone that I could not beat. Now, this isn't to say that I thought of them that they were going to be easy opponents, but I thought of them as people that I could beat. And so I practiced accordingly. Now my plan for the day of Tipped Off was to get to the area early so I could warm up and be ready. My plan was to not even go into the venue, just hook up my Wii U in the car and then practice against like my amigos so I could be warmed up at least. Come the day of Tipped Off, I didn't follow my plan at all. I went to the venue way early and did not play any friendlies. I did not warm up, and I just spent my time watching matches instead of actually playing and getting warmed up like I knew I needed to do. Now, comes time for my first match. I noticed that I was not playing as well as I usually do. One thing, the biggest indicator of this to me was that I was missing techs, which is something I almost never do. I always land techs on the stage. Not like stage fight techs, but like when you're just falling onto the stage, I always land those techs. Like always. And I noticed I was not landing any of them. Now at first I chalked that up to me not being warmed up. But later on in the day I found out that my right trigger, my R button, had actually stopped working. And I was mad at myself because if I had warmed up like I was told myself to do, I would have noticed that earlier and known to use my spare controller. But I didn't. And I think the reason why I did not follow my plan was because I was so scared. Because in my pool, there were 15 players in my pool, and I was seed 7, which is actually pretty freaking high. Like, I'm used to being like bottom seed, but I was seed 7. I wasn't used to that. And looking at the projections of who they expected to win and do well, I was expected to win against Day, who is a player that, again, I recognize as being really good. Now, keep in mind, this is the first time I've ever gone to a tournament with anyone expecting me to win anything. I've never had to deal with the pressure being expected to win, and I just didn't know how to deal with that. And I think the reason why I didn't follow my plan was because, what if I didn't win? What if I still drowned in pools? What if, despite all the work and things I did to prepare, I still drowned in pools? That'd probably make me feel pretty bad. So I think I subconsciously handicapped myself on purpose so I wouldn't feel bad when I lost. And yeah, I did lose and I did drown in pools. But later on in the day, throughout the rest of Tipped Off, I played a lot of PR matches. And there was no longer that pressure of me being expected to win anymore. So I noticed I was playing a lot better. And it was there that I actually saw how much improvement I had made. Because in my PR set against Limbs, who is Fatality's doubles partner, I took a game off of him. I did not expect that to happen, but I took a game off of him. I also took a game off of CC, who is a Sonic main from Rango's region, who is also really high in their region. So these are two very noticeable players who I took games off of. Day I played, and yeah, I did win against him. Very handily, actually. Another thing that happened at Tipped Off that I am not used to is being recognized by people that I don't recognize. That has never happened before. Like, I actually had fans who were excited to see me. People who were excited to see me because they wanted to fight me. I've never had that happen before. I met a person there who recognized me from stream in one of my stream wins and was really excited to get the chance to fight me. I also, at Tipped Off, I saw the first ever person to knock me out of a tournament. Now, the story about that is kind of interesting. The first tournament I ever competed in, the first tournament I ever was in for Smash Bros. Was the 2015 Momocon tournament. And it wasn't very well run, and I didn't actually get to play my match against this player, and they DQ'd me. But he still agreed to play me anyway, and he won the set. So I didn't feel as bad because I didn't walk away thinking I would still be in the tournament. No, he would have still won. I would have still got knocked out of the tournament, which is why I consider him the first person to ever knock me out of a tournament. But I saw him again at Tipped Off, and he had recognized me. Anyway, later on in the day, we played a set again, and I won 2-0. So, that was another thing to show that I had improved quite a lot. I also got to see the same person who knocked me out of the AWA tournament. Now, I was really excited to play against him again, was because at the AWA tournament, I did not know whether or not I could have won because I SD'd both games that I lost. And he tried to downplay his win because he was just like, he SD'd. But I didn't really feel that way because even though I felt as though I could have done better in those games, I do feel as though he still would have won the set. And at Tipped Off, even though I had improved tremendously, he had improved tremendously as well. And our set was 3-2 with me losing. And another thing, I was undefeated in Falcon Dittos, which I found pretty fun. Well, I was undefeated in Falcon Dittos until I played Fatality, but hey. Anyway, I would say Tipped Off was a great learning experience for me. I learned pressure and what it can do to affect me, and that I just was not ready to deal with that pressure. Now, as far as the person who knocked me out of pools, I was able to get information on almost every player in my pool, except for 2 players. One of the players that I didn't have any information on was who I fought and got knocked out of pools by. And it wasn't just that I didn't know his character, or who he played, or his playstyle. The character he plays is a character I just have 0 matchup experience against. Rosalina. I have no matchup experience against Rosalina. I have no idea how to approach this character, how to deal with this character. And I can't just take a general approach to Rosalina, because Rosalina is just not a general approach character. You have to play differently. And I just don't know how I'm supposed to play when dealing with Rosalina. Now, the first game of the set, this player played Villager, another character that I don't have much matchup experience with. However, I at least had a general idea of how I was supposed to approach it because I had asked Rango in the past how to deal with it. And so I won, prompting the switch to Rosalina, in which I lost and was knocked out of pools. Now, I would say the biggest differences at Tipped Off were people recognizing my improvement, recognizing skill. I'm no longer that person that everyone expects to lose round 1. That's not expected of me anymore. And I'm not used to that. I'm not used to being expected to win. What I've always done was played each match, win or lose, I learned from it. And that's always been my goal, learn from my matches. Now I'm expected to win, no matter what. Well, not no matter what, but I'm expected to win sometimes, which is weird. I'm not used to it. Another thing is having people not just root for you, but again, expect you to win. I'm not used to that. Being able to be recognized as being a good player, because I was recognized as being the second best Ike main from my state, with number 1 being Rango, who beat Fatality at Tipped Off. I'm considered number 2, with number 1 being someone like that. That's pretty big expectation to follow. Now, in the, maybe the week following Tipped Off, I've still been, trying to improve, trying to get better, trying to work on things that I feel I need to work on. But other people are recognizing my improvement, and I'm still learning how to deal with that, how to deal with the pressure of being considered good by other people. Now, the thing about me is you will never ever hear me say that I am good, ever. You will also never hear me say that I'm terrible or bad, or even decent. You'll never hear me just straight out judging my skill level on my own. Whenever someone asks me what my skill level is, I'll just tell them my ranking on Smashboards and let them draw their own conclusions. Because while I know how to play the game, I'm competent, but there's also some matchups that are just crippling for me to deal with, and I just don't know how to deal with them. But at the same time, the matches I'm good in, it really shows that, yeah, this is the number 2 Ike player. When I play people and I just straight up body them, I can't go around and just say, I don't want to be the type of person who'll be like, man, I'm just so terrible at this game, and then win a 6 versus 1 situation. You can't really say you're terrible when you're winning. It just doesn't work. I don't want to be one of those people who is always like, I didn't win because I'm good. I won because you're bad. I don't want to be that type of person. Or I only lost because this person is good and I'm not good. No, we all have different skill levels. Most of the time it's just this person is good, both players are good, it's just that the other player is better. Simple as that. Now, I also don't really agree with calling myself terrible when I have actual tournament placements. 7th at a 64 bracket tournament is kind of a big deal. That really is, it's kind of a big deal. And, well, no, I don't think I'll be top 8 anytime soon at a national tournament. At a regional, I think I will start doing a little bit better now. If I'm able to get over my choking habit and stop being so scared when I play. Now, interesting about me is that I play a surprising number of characters. Ike is my main, but I can also play Link, Little Mac, Captain Falcon. I've also played Mii Brawler for a bit. Like, these are all characters that I can play. Now, as far as dealing with, say, an actual tournament set that I want to win, 9 times out of 10 that'll be very specific to the matchup. And I would say it's not so much that my skill level is low, it's just that I don't have matchup experience. I don't have experience. I put in the work to practice, but I don't have experience actually putting it in work. And that is what is holding me back as a player. Now, this was originally supposed to be just my recap before it tipped off, but it ended up turning into all the things I learned from my experience with tipped off. I am kinda disappointed that I never got to play on stream, because literally every single time I would be about to play on stream, they would like stop letting people come to play on stream. Like literally every time. Like if a top player was playing friendlies on stream, and it would be like my turn, they'd be like, sorry, no more friendlies, we have to get back to the bracket. What? Like that happened every single time. Like if you like check the stream, you'll probably see me in the background like 7 or 8 times. But yeah. Overall, I enjoyed Tipped Off. I really did enjoy Tipped Off. And I felt as though it was a necessary learning experience. And I do feel as though if I'm able to apply what I've learned, I will start doing better at tournaments. And that is my goal. This is Dark Slayer Reem from Haltessia Gaming, signing off.